Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday and happy So What Day. I hope you're having a great start to your week. I have so much to share with you today. I am going to be giving you 5 great gift ideas to sew, whether it's for Mother's Day, a birthday, even Father's Day. We can, talk about how we can sort of customize a lot of these projects today for different people in your life, different genders. You get the idea. So, this show is going to be packed full of all sorts of these types of ideas. Some of them are quick and easy, some of them take a little bit more time. But regardless, they will get you to your sewing machine, practicing what you love, and, giving a little bit of a handmade touch to a gift, right? I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of the times, whether it's a birthday or holiday, I'm sort of expected to give a handmade gift at this point. It's either because generally I try to, or just, because of who I am. I think people are kind of like, what is she going to make for me? So even though there's this expectation, I still love doing it, and I'm sure that you do too. So lots of you coming on and saying hello. I do encourage you to do so because I have a great giveaway today for one lucky viewer who is watching, commenting, giving me those emojis, somehow engaging with the post today. That's all you have to do. And I'm going to pick a random winner from all people who are doing those things to win a 1-yard pack of Sulky Solvy stabilizer. That's right. Solvy is probably, I would say, what Sulky is most known for in the stabilizer world. Wouldn't you agree? I think a lot of people use Sulky Solvy for toppers, for embroidery projects, and for other things. You can spray it with temporary spray adhesive, put it on the top of little mini quilts and things like this, and do decorative stitching over the top, practice your quilting. You can draw on it and it washes away. Lots of uses for Sulky Solvy, but I am going to be showing it today as a topper on a really plushy, lofty faux fur fabric that we're going to add embroidery to. So nothing like combining some seemingly difficult fabrics with embroidery, but I am hopefully going to show you how to tackle these types of fabrics and how to add some beautiful embellishment to them, with the help of Sulky Solvy. All right, so today is also an exciting day because it is the day that our All the Patches embroidery sewing session is now available for viewing in its entirety. So this session has lots of video support. It has additional posts and information, as well as an embroidery collection from Urban Threads and Embroidery Library with 7 patch designs. You'll get 4 blank patch designs that you see on the top of this image, and then 3 crafty merit badge patches. One says black belt in hooping, one says fabric snob, and one says embroidery wizard. During this session with all these videos, you will be able to create a patch using any design that you like. You can merge an existing design that you might have in your library or in your machine with a blank patch design to create your own patch. You can also create the freestanding patches that you see here with some different modifications. So using different fabrics as bases, with or without a backing, and with or without fusible attached. I get this question all the time. How do I make a patch fusible? And then how do I apply it to projects? There's also an entire video tutorial, 3 of them actually, that show you 3 different methods for applying patches to projects and or other fabrics. So this is a really comprehensive session all about patches. And if you register today, you can start viewing immediately. Lots of you I know registered ahead of time and grabbed up your kits for this session. The kit is entirely optional, but it does include all of the threads that are featured in the design collection that comes with this session. You also get 2 packs of Sulky Solvy stabilizer, which is really what I love to use for making standalone patches. And then you get a special 4-pack of Sulky Twilly. Twilly is really brand new. We've only had it on our website in a neutral assortment that goes with one of our Halloween patch collections. But for this session, we curated a brand new set of Twilly colors. It's the black, the white, the yellow, and the blue that you see at the sort of top of your screen. And then you'll also get 3 colors of Sulky Felty. Felty makes really great patches that are textured, have great sort of stability to them. So they give you a little bit different look than the Twilly. So you get to experiment with both. And then you'll also get a pack of organ needles so that you have everything that you need to start making patches. And all of these colors will coordinate with the colors of the designs that you get in the session. But you can also, of course, use them for so many other patch designs, especially the whites and the blacks and the yellows. You know, like these colors go with so many designs. And you can use the curated thread collection so that everything matches nicely and goes together well. All right, Jana says, yay for patches. Love that. Nice patch colors. Yeah, I think patches are so fun. And I see them everywhere. You know, I think there was a time where patches kind of went away. Like it was really big, sort of, I don't know, was it the 80s, 90s? I just remember that. Here's a fun story for you. I used to work at TGI Fridays. That's right. And I had to have the flare. Okay, I had to have my suspenders with all of my buttons on them. That really takes me back, okay? So some of my flair were patches that I would just sew onto my suspenders because I didn't have that many buttons in my life. They were kind of hard to find. In fact, I would use like promotional buttons that you get, you know, even at a doctor's office or like at a, you know, promotional event of some sort where they have booths and things. And I would take those buttons and I would put stickers on them of other things because they just weren't, you know, there weren't that many buttons to be found. And I really did have to have 10 pieces of flair. I mean, the movie that they made about this is very accurate, I'll just say. So anyways, all that to say, I think the patch scene is kind of, it's either coming back or it's having a boom. I'm just seeing, you know, cute little patches. I love that the patches, the 3 that are included in this session are called Crafty Merit Badges. Because, you know, if any of you were a Girl Scout or a campfire girl like I was, you know, you had merit badges and you got to wear them on your sash. And the more you had, the more sort of clout or, you know, pride that you could have about, your pursuits, right? So why not have that as sewers, quilters, embroiderers? You know, this is one of our patches we have at sulky.com, the I made this patch. Love putting that on a cute bag or something that I've made. This patch is made of faux leather, out of just a faux leather scrap. I never throw those things away. If you have cork scraps, faux leather scraps, you know, any sort of fabric that doesn't fray, but you could also use fabric that is prone to fraying because the patch designs included in this session all are finished with satin stitch edging. Here are the designs. So even if you're using a fabric that might fray, put a backing on it, you've got your stabilizer inside, and then you're going to use that satin stitch edging to finish the patch and kind of close up any of those raw edges. So I can't wait to see what you all think of the session. Let me know. On every single lesson page throughout the session, there's a Q&A box at the end. And if you just write a little note in there, I get pinged immediately so I can help you if you do have a question. But if you also just want to let me know how it's going, how you're enjoying it, things that I can improve on in the future for sessions like this, I really, really love and appreciate your feedback. So I would love to hear, how you're navigating through, how you're enjoying it, what you're learning, whatever sort of notes you want to send my way. I appreciate all of them. Maureen says, it looks like a patch afternoon for me. Love that. Yep, you can now get started. Very exciting. Okay, so speaking of all the patches, you all might remember our All the Towels session, also in partnership with Embroidery Library and Urban Threads. So I wanted to bring this one up too because, as you know, if you registered for this, what was it, last year? It's still in your library. Our content never expires once you've registered for it. You can always access it. So I just wanted to put it out there as a reminder because one of my great gift ideas I want to talk about today is embroidering towels. I think that putting together a cute little gift of like a new spatula and maybe a cookie or a brownie mix and a cute little embroidered towel, wrap it up in a bow, and anyone would love to get that gift. So if you have your All the Towels session at sewingonline.sulky.com, you get all sorts of videos and tutorials for different types of towels, how to embroider them, designs that are appropriate for that type of towel, which stabilizers to pair with which type of towel. You can see on this screen, we've got a tea towel, a waffle weave towel, a plush loopy textured towel, a linen towel, and a standard kitchen towel. So all these towels, literally all the towels, are in video tutorial form within this session. So if you are joining for all the patches, make sure you also have all the towels in your library. You will get the collection of designs that you see here once you register for all the towels, but then you will also get all these tutorials for making great gifts. So I was at Target the other day. I know that's shocking. I feel like they should know me by name, but they don't yet. So I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. Anyways, love the dollar bin area at Target. Sometimes you can really find some really cool stuff in there. And I'm kind of always on the lookout for, sorry, I've got a tag on here that I want to remove. I'm always on the lookout for things I can use for embroidery blanks in that area. Because in general, the things in that area are like $5 and under. I don't know if that's like a rule with that area, but I feel like it must be. But I have found things like rope trivets, clothesline trays, blank hats, socks, even little toddler aprons I have found in this area. And a lot of the times it's cheaper to buy them in the Target dollar bin than it is to buy them where you would find technically like embroidery blanks or items that they use for heat presses and things like that. So I was pleasantly surprised to find this pack of 2 towels in my Target dollar bin. They came together. It was either $3 or $5 for both of these towels. So much cuter than the towels in the actual kitchen section, because I went there next to see if I could find some more. This was the last one in my bin. I don't know if they've restocked, but I just thought these were perfect for spring, great for Easter, great for Mother's Day, great for any kind of gift giving. So that sort of prompted this whole tutorial that I'm going to share with you today, because I thought these would be such a cute little set for a Mother's Day gift. And I wanted to talk about adding embroidery to something that's really textured or something that has a print that you might compete with when you add an embroidery design. Isn't this cute? It has its own little ruffled edge. I don't even have to sew that on there. I can just embroider it, gift it, and I've made something handmade, personalized it, super simple. Then the problem really only becomes searching for the perfect design because we know we can get lost in the world of embroidery designs, right? I also found this other towel at sulky.com. We have a number of towel blanks available there as well. And I've just never seen one like this out there in the universe. And so I'm really glad Sulky has it. I think it's so cute. It's a bunch of wine bottles, little wine glass at the bottom. So if you have or know a wine enthusiast, this makes a great personalized gift. And then you can add embroidery to it, a little edging, some trim, something like that. So speaking of putting embroidery on something like this is challenging because you've got this wine bottle print, right? Like on this towel, I've got all of these textured threads already on the towel. Well, if I want to embroider this, how is my embroidery going to pop when it's competing with what is on the surface of this towel? So this is partially, this is covered in our All the Towels session a little bit, but I wanted to go a little bit further. So what I find is a great idea, and another sort of hack for creating lots of gifts, like let's say it's, Christmas time and you have 14 friends to make something for. Great idea to grab up a towel blank and then personalize it for each person. So you're kind of going through the motions, doing the same thing, but each one is still different and personalized and, has thought behind it. So the way to do this is really to embroider on another fabric and then applique it to the towel. Or you can choose an applique machine embroidery design that might already have a background to it. This also brings me back to our patch design collection. So notice these patch designs that are blank, right? This is a perfect thing to embroider on and then put on the towel. However, instead of embroidering a freestanding patch, you can embroider the patch directly on to the towel. So it kind of becomes more one. We don't have a freestanding patch and then we have to sew it to the towel. We can just create the patch sort of applique style, put our own little message on it. We just want to make sure that the patch design is sized appropriately for the towel so that it's readable and it looks nice. You can even use a piece of nice linen fabric to go with the towel, or even a piece of sulky felty as the background, and put your quote unquote patch over the top with an embroidery design. So lots of different ways of looking at this sort of towel project, but here's a cute design. This is a Designs by Juju design. And she has actually a lot of really cute sayings on her site. I linked directly to this design pack. I think it's even called Wine Sayings. You'll find the link to that in the description of today's post if you're interested in this design. I thought it just went with the wine themed towel so well. But you can find this in the description of today's post. Click on that See More or More button and the whole description will pop out and you'll find links to everything I'm talking about today. So this one says wine pairs nicely with good friends. So you stitch that on a piece of linen or a piece of quilting cotton fabric with some stabilizer. And then you can fuse that to the towel using Sulky Perfect Applique Fusible Web. Make sure to finish the outside edge of that applique fabric. I like, the idea, or not the idea, I like the look of a raw edge applique, but you could also satin stitch around it as well, depending on the fabric that you're using, because, you know, hand towels get a lot of wear and use out of them. So you want to keep that in mind for how you're finishing your applique edges. But really quick and easy gift ideas are embroidered towels. Again, love to pair it with like a nice pair of tongs or a nice cute spatula. They have spatulas with all sorts of little, you know, decorations on them now. So cute. And then maybe a brownie mix or something like that to go along with it. Makes a really great gift, relatively inexpensive depending on where you find your towels. But I'm going to do up this set, and you'll find it on the Sulky blog soon. I just haven't really decided what design I want to add to them, but great colors for spring, Mother's Day, and beyond. All right, so that's gift idea number 1, towels. Another great gift idea, which is featuring the Sulky Solvy that I was talking about earlier, because that is today's gift from Sulky for one lucky viewer who is watching and commenting, giving me those emojis, somehow engaging with the post. That's all you have to do. You also need to like us on Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching there, so that I can contact you if you happen to be the random winner of a 1-yard pack of Sulky Solvy. So now I'm going to show you that Solvy in action. This is our self-care in the hoop eye mask. It is done in the hoop of your embroidery machine. And you might recognize this project if you happen to buy our, let's see, when was this mystery box? This was in a mystery box, I want to say 2023, maybe? If you have it, you can let me know, and I would love to see your finished eye masks as well. But this is made out of a faux fur, like minky fabric with kind of long fur. The back of it is a satin fabric, really, really nice against your skin. And then it's got a glittery elastic that goes around your head. And then this beautiful celestial inspired sun and moon embroidery design on the front of the eye mask. So everything is done in the hoop. I'm going to go through the steps that you need to take in the hoop of your embroidery machine so that you can have an overview of how this comes together. But this makes a really great gift. You don't need a whole lot of fabric. This is what the design looks like when you import it into your embroidery machine. You can see there are some placement stitches. There's an opening for turning. The design motif is in the center of the eye mask. So this is what it looks like, and you're going to go through it step by step according to the color chart that comes with your embroidery design. So make sure you are referencing that as you go. But as I mentioned, you don't need a whole lot of fabric for this eye mask. You do need some fun elastic. Love this purple glittery elastic. And all of these things that you see that I'm talking about came with the mystery box where this design first originated. So you can see that faux fur, the satin fabric, some batting, and then the elastic. Also, of course, you need stabilizer and thread. So the first thing you're going to do is hoop up that stabilizer, and we're using soft and sheer stabilizer so that it's nice and soft, nice and lightweight, and yes, it is going to be strong enough to hold all those layers in the hoop. Pretty amazing stuff. So the first step is to embroider the placement stitches directly onto that soft and sheer stabilizer. And so you can see that the eye mask shape is stitched onto the stabilizer. Then we're going to place our faux fur fabric right side up over those placement stitches. Now, before we do any sewing, we're going to cover the faux fur with a layer of Sulky Solvy. This is going to be our topper. The topper is going to prevent our beautiful embroidery stitches from sinking into the pile of the faux fur. And if we didn't use that, then all of those stitches would just get lost. We would have this fur coming up in between each stitch, and we wouldn't be able to see that sun and that moon. So what the topper does is it helps the thread sit proudly on top of that fabric surface, and, make it so that you can see the entire design. So before you put the Solvy down, you want to kind of pet the faux fur all in one direction. I always like to pet it downwards. So if you're looking at this in the hoop, you can see that our fabric is in a vertical position. So you need to consult, look at your machine screen to see the orientation of the design and pet it in that direction so that it's going to go downwards once you're wearing the mask. Then once all of the pile is going in the same direction, you can spray your Solvy with a little bit of KK2000 and stick it over the top of everything. I like to spray it, and I like to use a little bit of Sulky clear embroidery tape just to make sure that it's nice and taut around the edges of my hoop. All right, so now that the Solvy is there, you can go ahead and finish the motif portion of your design. So you can see this has a beautiful silver color, a dark purple color, and then a little bit of gold as well. Really beautiful design. Once all of that is stitched out, you're also going to see that there are some placement lines for your elastic. So your elastic ends are going to go at each placement line, and you're going to tape them down using that Sulky clear embroidery tape. Then you want to make sure that all of your elastic is within the outline of your eye mask so that it's not going to interfere with the subsequent stitches. And then you're going to put your lining fabric over the top, right sides facing, and then a piece of batting over that. Now that we have this sandwich in the hoop, you can run the next step, which is the outline stitching for the design. And you can see it leaves an opening for turning along that upper straight edge. So once that is complete, you can remove it from the hoop and then trim it up. And you'll notice that I left my seam allowance rather large along that opening. It just really helps you turn it to the wrong side and get a nice, straight line across so that you can hand sew that opening shut. So all of my other edges are trimmed quite near, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch beyond that outer stitching line. And I still go in there and I clip generously along the curved seam allowance. There's, this whole thing is curvy except for that upper edge opening. And there's a lot of bulk in there, right? We've got the faux fur and the batting and all of our fabrics. So clipping along that seam allowance is going to make sure that all of that bulk follows, those curved edges. Then when you turn it right side out, I highly suggest you use a turning tool. We have a great one at sulky.com. It's called the Sulky Multi-Purpose Turning Tool, which actually was included in one of our mystery boxes as well. So this turning tool on one end has like an egg-shaped ball on it, and on the other end, it has a really tiny ballpoint tip. So you want to use the larger sort of egg-shaped tip for this. Go inside and just smooth it along all of those curved edges, making sure that everything is nice and following those curves. And you can see, yes, the Solvy is still attached at this point. Now we're going to fold that opening toward the wrong side and clip it shut. It is really imperative that you use clips here instead of pins. Because we're working with this satin fabric and it can be easily marred by pins. You can get, runs and snags if you use pins, depending on how sharp your pins are. And it's also really difficult to pin through all of that bulk, including that faux fur. So I highly suggest you use some Clover Wonder clips to close up that opening and then hand sew it shut. It's really, a 3 or 4 inch, opening that you need to hand sew. And it really does make a difference in the final project. You don't really want to top stitch this shut because you're going to perhaps interfere with the beautiful embroidery on the front. And then you would have to stitch over some of your machine embroidery stitches and stitch over all of that faux fur. So it's really best that you just hand sew this tiny little opening shut. And then you have your beautiful finished spa eye mask with that great embroidery that really pops. You can see all of it because of that Solvy. So at this point, you would tear away as much Solvy as you can. You can use that smaller ballpoint tip on that multi-purpose turning tool and kind of get it started along the seam line and just kind of pull it toward the design to pull away as much as you can. And then whatever is left, you can either use a wet Q-tip and kind of release it along the stitching lines, or you can also throw this in the washing machine and all of your Solvy will disappear. And yes, it is washable. Isn't that great? All right, so this would be a really great gift idea for really anyone on your list. You can personalize this with different thread colors, different faux fur colors, different types of elastic. You can also replace the motif on this eye mask with a different design of your choice. Now, to do that, what I would do if I didn't have software, I would skip all of the design motif stitches on my screen. So once I did, my mask outline and blah, 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 I would skip all of those designs and then I would go to my secondary design that I've imported into my machine and embroider that onto the eye mask and then go back to the finishing stitching step for, adding the backing and doing that final outline step for the eye mask. Now, you do need to make sure that the design that you've chosen is going to fit on your eye mask, but you can kind of fiddle around on your machine screen, resizing as much as possible and sort of fitting it onto the eye mask. So if you do want to make this for, let's say, a different gender or somebody who really loves cats and dogs, I don't know, you can change up the fabric of your eye mask. You can also change up the design. You can also omit the design entirely and just sew the steps to construct the mask. Just skip all of the motif steps and follow along with the color chart. All right. And yes, Kathy says, good tip on how to change the design, though this design looks and fits the mask perfectly. Yes, it does. It's completely designed for this mask shape, which makes it really, really nice. All right, let's see. Big fan of clips versus pins. Yes, the turning tool is super useful. Love that. All right, just wanted to make sure that I was caught up on any questions for that project. So that's project number 2, the Self-Care in the Hoop Spa Mask. And then another project that I bring this one out of the woodwork all the time because it's so easy to sew and the embroidery is optional, but you could certainly personalize this in so many different ways. It's great for traveling. It's great for anyone on your list, any age of person, any gender. It is the cup of tea catch-all pattern. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen this project everywhere, but this pattern is really easy to negotiate, really simple, great to embroider. It's made out of 2 colors of Sulky Felty, one of my favorite things to work with, and I think I'm going to talk about it in 3 of the 5 projects today, in fact. But this is made of 2 sheets of Sulky Felty. There is a little bit of stabilizer between so that it stands up nicely once you fold it and snap it. There are snaps along the sides. I'll show you how it goes together here. But you can see you could put any design that you want on one or both of the sheets of Felty before or after you cut out your pattern piece, and it's reversible. So you either fold up the sides on the interior, or you can flip it and fold up the sides on the opposite color. So to make this sort of suitable for your travels, to have a little catch-all by the nightstand where you just are always putting your stuff every night, which is a great idea. Or maybe you want to put this in the safe and have all of your things kind of corralled in the safe in the hotel, things of that nature. All you do is unsnap it and it's just completely flat. You can slide it into a zippered compartment in your luggage. Really great for traveling and on the go. You can also create this out of faux leather or cork fabric. 2 layers, maybe one of each. Put your snaps in and put a monogram in the center. And this would be really great for Father's Day gift ideas, something they put, at the office or next to their bed, put their keys and change and whatnot inside. So you can make this a little bit more high-end or a little bit more casual with the felty. So just depending on the fabric that you choose for this, and of course the embroidery design, you can swap this for any recipient on any gift list that you might have. So this is what it looks like when it's flat, and this does not have the snaps attached yet, and it's not sewn together yet. So I've embroidered this Best Tees Forever design. This is a design at sulky.com. It's an applique design, so there's 2 different solid fabrics, maybe even 3 that are featured within the teacups, and then lots of cute threads for the little floral decorations on those teacups. And then, of course, the Best Tees Forever font. So you would embroider this onto your felty, and then the back of the embroidery gets all covered up because we're going to put our lining or exterior felty wrong sides facing, and then you top stitch the whole thing. So before top stitching though, we're going to add our snaps according to the pattern so that you have, a male side, female side, all on the right edges or portions of the little catch-all. And then once the snaps are attached, you can sew them together, and just like that, it is complete. So you're just top stitching them together. So this is another thing where you would want to use a no fray fabric, excuse me, such as felty, cork, faux leather, and the like. Okay, this is also a great little catch-all. You could roll up your set of tea towels and put inside. You could make this for a lover of tea. You could make this with some face products, beauty products, and maybe a little mesh, face. I can't speak, but you get the idea. All kinds of ways you can personalize this for the recipient or just gift it on its own. Everyone needs a catch-all, right? All right. So that is gift idea number 3. And let's see here. Ooh, love this next one. Okay, so I have made so many of these. I gave one to each one of my daughter's school teachers a few years ago at the end of school, personalized for them, and they loved it. I've made these for friends. I made one for my mom. I made one for each of my girls and put a little calendar organizer in there at the beginning of school. And they're just so fantastic. You can make them for organizers, notebooks, planners, little sketchbooks. It is an in the hoop notebook cover. And we have an entire embroidery session at sewingonline.sulky.com that takes you through how to make this in 3 hoopings. So you have your front, you have your binding and back, and then you have your interior that goes around the notebook or planner. See how it fits in? You have your little elastic loop that you can put a pen inside. And then it also has a little ribbon sort of bookmark that you can add in the size of your choice. And then some fold over elastic where you can close it. There's also another version with a snap tab closure that comes with this set as well. And you also get a large size and a small size. So depending on the notebook size that you're using, you can create a smaller, large. And then there are several different designs to choose from, which this looks very similar to a little patch. Am I right? We're having all these full circle moments today. I love it. So this says all the things. I just chose threads that go with all of the fabric colors that I chose, but I want to go through all the different designs for you. This is the gratitude journal. So it says gratitude, a little bit larger, sort of, I'll just say patch or applique. This is done in Sulky Felty. And see how this just, there's great coverage with the Felty. You don't see the fabric print underneath. Twilly would also be a great choice, which is featured in our All the Patches design collection, or kit rather. But you could also use some quilting cotton. I just want you to really be mindful of the fabric color that you're choosing for the applique so that you don't have that show through underneath from whatever fabric print that you're choosing. So this is in a really pretty yellowy spring color. I love putting a notebook inside and finding a pretty pen to go with it. It just really makes the gift all that more special. You could even make these to go around a favorite book. It all depends on the size that you're going for. So you got to make sure to get the right size book, I guess, for the right size notebook cover that you're making. This one says brain dump, and you can see this one has that snap closure that I was talking about. You can just use a cam snap as well. I believe that is what is shown in the videos for this session. So these make wonderful gifts that are so easy to personalize with different fabrics, different phrases, and of course, different notebooks and pens and things like that. This one is a blank design that you can personalize with a monogram or a design of your choice, as long as it fits in that blank design frame. So this is a really pretty S monogram, but this is a great way to personalize it as well. And it would look really cool with some cork fabric just used as that applique or that patch rather. And then here you can see that snap tab as well on this version. And then we have prayer journal, another pretty fabric and thread combination. And then to do or not to do. I will say that my daughter's teachers really loved this one, to do or not to do. I just think it's so cute and so perfect for them. But again, choose your threads and fabrics and your ribbons and your elastic. It's just, they're really pretty, really thoughtful gifts. And then we have all the things. This is just another take on this one that I just showed you that I made. This is the only one I have left, but I think I've probably made 18 or 20 of these. They just get really sort of addictive when you start making them, and people just love them. They're great, great gifts. So you can find this embroidery session at sewingonline.sulky.com, along with our all the patches and all the towels sessions as well. And yes, you get the small and large sizes with snap tab or with fold over elastic closure. Everything is included with purchase of that session. So it's a great idea. Oh, here's the large and the small version of the prayer journal. So you can just kind of see the scale, but all of the dimensions are listed within that session, as well as on that offer page before you even make a purchase. So you can see, what hoop size you need and what finish sizes of notebooks you need. I believe it's like a 5x7 and then a 4x6, something like that. The small one is pretty small. It's like pocket journal size. But I had no problem finding suitable notebooks to put inside. I had, just a regular lined notebook, again, as well as some organizers with calendars, a small gridded notebook I was able to find. So you can go to your office supply store or even Target and look for different notebooks and things to put inside of yours. All right, so that is gift idea number 4. And gift idea number 5 is another one of those sort of assembly line style projects that's really great for gifting to, lots of people. It only takes 2 fat quarters of fabric, a little bit of Sulky Stiffy Stabilizer for the bottom base of it to kind of give it a little structure, and some pretty satin cording, and I added a couple of beads as well. It is a drawstring jewelry pouch. So this was also a mystery box project. So everyone got everything that they needed to create this and more. This was just one of the projects featured in one of our past mystery boxes. But I love making these. They come together so quick and easy and simple, and everyone goes nuts for it. Let me just tell you. Even my kids, when they go on a sleepover, they like to have their little bits and baubles and their skincare and their things. And it's great to know that they can just open this up completely flat, use all their things in all the little pockets, make sure it doesn't leave the table, and then when they're all done, they can just grab it, throw it in their backpack or their duffel bag, and everything is nice and contained inside. So there's a couple of buttonholes here for the drawstring, and there's a little casing inside that holds this nice satin drawstring. And then I added some little wooden beads at the end just to give it a little, touch of decoration and to make it really easy to gather up. And yes, there are so many pockets. There are 8 pockets inside to hold small things, rings, earrings, bracelets, and then you could put, your watch, a necklace down in here and keep it nice and tidy. You could see here's the drawstring that goes around that pocket edge. That's where you feed your satin drawstring through. You can really use any kind of drawstring, but this sort of satin coated drawstring, it just kind of gives it a nice, designery touch. You could certainly use some ribbon or some string, but really easy how this comes together. There's a little bit of Sulky Stiffy Stabilizer, 2 layers of it, that you insert under the stitching in this portion, and that just helps it kind of stand up nicely so that when you're gathering it, it doesn't gather the whole thing into a ball. So ideally, that would help not have your necklaces tangle and things like that. I haven't really tested that to see if the stabilizer makes a difference there, but I know that with this being nice and flat, if you kind of organize your things nicely inside, they should stay that way throughout your travels. So love this color combination too. Beautiful fabric colors. So yes, all of this was included in a Sulky mystery box. It just looks so cute when it's closed as well. So I think you'll all enjoy making that. And obviously, again, you can personalize it in so many different ways, depending on who you're gifting it to and what they might be using it for. I really want to make one for all of my daughter's soccer teammates because they're at the age where they're wearing earrings and they come to soccer and they got this watch on, or, they have this hair clip that's falling out because they're running. So I want to make one in a soccer themed fabric for each one of my daughter's teammates. And that way they're not running over to their moms and dads like, oh, I got to take my earrings out. Oh, the ref says I got to take my watch off, this and that. And then the parents are left holding all the gems and baubles and things throughout the rest of the game or the practice. Well, if they have this little pouch on them, they can open it up, throw all their things inside, make sure that it doesn't get lost. I will never forget searching in the turf for one of my daughter's earrings after one of their games just last season. So hopefully this will help with those moments so that we don't have them again. All right, so I'll let you know. Maybe I could take some pictures after everybody gets one, and hopefully everybody loves it. So let's see. Lois says, thanks for all the wonderful ideas. It will get me motivated after all the winter blahs. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, these are really quick and easy ideas. Sometimes we just need that great pattern that, gives us all the steps, all the photos, everything that we need so that we can get it done. And I've made all of these before you, and I've done all the mistakes. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and have great success at the sewing machine. Betsy says, could you embroider on the bag bottom? Do you mean like inside or like here? Might be able to do like a cute little monogram right here on the bottom before you sandwich your fabrics, before you add that interior pocket piece. That might be a cute little way of personalizing it, especially if I'm going to make all these the same, right? I probably need something so that these girls can tell them apart, because that'll be the next thing, right? Somebody comes home with the wrong drawstring jewelry pouch and they have someone else's watch and jewelry at the end of the game. Didn't even think about that. Another way of kind of identifying it is you could make a little charm, or instead of doing these wooden beads, maybe I could put their name on the bead or use a different bead that has like a letter charm on it or something like that. Or maybe I can use different drawstring cord colors for each girl. Your purple, your red, your yellow, that type of thing. We'll see. But thank you for saying that, because I would not even have thought of it. What did I put on the ends of the drawstring? It's just a little wooden bead. And you want to make sure that the diameter of the hole of the bead is large enough for 2 drawstrings that you've chosen. So you can find these wooden beads in bulk on, Amazon, maybe at Michael's, stores like this. Really easy to also personalize, because you could put nail polish on these. You can spray paint them. Hobby Lobby probably has them in different diameters. So yes, great. Let's see. Great idea for a pouch for my teen granddaughters. They would love this. Absolutely. I think it's really, a universal project for anyone of any age, would love it. All right. Anita says, my son has requested one of these little pouches. I really like the super cute pattern with the inner pockets. That brings me to, thank you for saying that. So when I first showed this to my daughters, my son was like, where is mine? And I was like, what are you going to use it for? You have no jewelry. I mean, he doesn't wear rings. He doesn't wear a watch, things like this. And he was like, I want to put all my game cartridges in here, and then my charger cord. And then when I go to a buddy's house and we're going to play, on the Switch or whatever, all of his stuff is in here with his charger, and he won't lose anything. And I was like, I can't believe you came up with this. And that's brilliant. And absolutely, I will make you one. I mean, so many things you can use, or you can organize inside of this handy little pouch. You know, a lot of the times we just think of like zipper pouches when we're talking about organizing things, but a pouch like that, no zipper, easy little drawstring, couple of little buttonholes, and you're golden. So great. Leanne says, I have one of those and I use it for jewelry when I travel. Love that. Drawstring, couple of little buttonholes, golden. Says, I have one jewelry when love that. Pocket clicked. Right. Oh, Dawn says, I was thinking thumb drives. That is another great use for those. We all, you know, as embroiderers, we just have, I don't even know, I have a jar that has like, I think 8 of these. So great idea. And maybe you could even label them. Who knows? You could probably embroider each pocket with what you intend to have inside. I mean, that's just another level of organization I don't know if I'm ready for, but hey, we could try it. Chris says it would be cute out of blue jean material for guys. That is a great idea. And it would be super sturdy. I love repurposing denim from things, jackets, jeans. I always keep jeans where, you know, the knee is blown out, the leg ripped off, whatever. I always keep them. I like to patch them together too. So this is a great opportunity to get rid of those or to, you know, breathe new life into them, really. All right. Well, I think I am caught up on all the questions. So I really hope that this has inspired you to make some really creative gifts for Mother's Day coming up, maybe even for Easter coming up. And of course, I can't wait to see all of your patches that I know you're going to create after diving into this session. So let me know how it goes, everyone who is registered. There is no limit for registrations because this is a start anytime session. There are no live videos. They are all on demand, start anytime videos that live in your library within this session for as long as you have an account over at sewingonline.sulky.com. So it's really great reference for you need or want to embroider some patches. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining me today. Be sure to tune in next week for